the most realistic steering system available on the market, look no further than Sim Steering from Leo Bodnar. Designed and hand-built at the home of British Motorsport's Silverstone circuit, it's extensively used by professional driver training centres and race teams including Formula 1 since 2010. The high precision and completely linear response coupled with high strength provides the ultimate in realistic steering force feedback. Visit simsteering.com.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels including Logitech, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Welcome to Apex Racing TV and our weekly broadcast of the Skip Barber 2K Cup. This is round 4. We are at Road America. Very, very long track for these little skippy cars. My name is Lee Thompson. Joining me on double duty working the cameras and commentary again is Alex Simpson.
Yeah, hi Lee. Good to be here, enjoying this Skippy series, and can't wait to see what comes next.
Yeah, we had a real dramatic end to the race last week at Donington Park with Graham Carroll taking the win, but a real close run at the last podium spots on the closing laps. Most of the cars have completed their opening lap before qualifying, so they're running single car qualifying, 2 laps to get their provisional grid slot in. And in practice, finished Roger Alex was 2 tenths faster than Philip Lebert.
Roger always quick, needs to bounce back after that mishap, shall we say, with the field last week. Have to keep an eye, see how he does.
Yeah, and we're expecting to see big trains of car in the race with these massive long straights that we have here at Road America. As I say, it's a big old place for these cars to get round, so we're only going to be running 15 laps in the race. They're running 2-minute 32s, 2-minute 33s in practice, so big circuit for these poor little cars to try and force themselves around.
Yeah, I think the guys touched last week actually how big the draft pack is going to be here, and as long as no one makes any kind of mistake, it could be that the whole pack is just going to be line astern, so it's going to be an interesting race to see how that pans out.
Right, so I'm watching Vinicius Rocha now about to complete his first attempt at qualifying, so putting his stamp down and seeing he's got the quickest time as he comes out the final corner, runs right out to the exit curb, and he's got the long drag up the hill now, getting to the start-finish line. So we normally find that their second laps are quicker as the tyres get up to temperature a little bit, but their opening gambits are just going to be coming in now.
Yeah, it looked like just very quickly saw it flash on screen. Tom Ward setting the fastest lap, but that was short-lived, I think. Just wait and see how this pans out. I think Riku set the provisional pole position time there as well, so beat that time very quickly with 2 minutes 33.4. So it's a right old long lap, Lee, like you were saying. I mean, that's plenty of time to make a mistake, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at practice time again, so you're less than less than 2 tenths it was between first and second in practice, and over that 2-minute 33 lap, I mean that's absolutely nothing. That's hundredths of a second at Donington Park, for instance, where we were last week, and they were running 1-minute 16s, so twice the length practically. So as you said, Riku Alatalo is still the car to have got in that quickest time so far. It looks like Vinicius Rocha must have had an off track on his first attempt, because he did not get a lap in on that first go. And it looks like perhaps there's a few drivers that are in the same position. 5 or 6 cars there yet to put a time in.
Yeah, as we know, Road America very well. It's very easy to dip a wheel wide, perhaps coming out of Canada corner. I think that seems to be the trickiest one out there, and there's a few other little places where you want to use just a little bit of extra curb here and there, and Yeah, I'm not surprised those guys haven't set a time. Actually, I'm more surprised that there's not more, to be fair.
Yeah, it really does draw you in this circuit. It encourages you to run out as wide as you possibly can, take those risks. Right, so we are nearing the end of our qualifying session. Most of the cars now are going to be towards the end of their second and final lap. I'm watching still Vinicius Rocha coming through the last little sequence of corners. He's still on it at the minute, so presumably there's no off track so far for this lap, and he's just got 2 corners remaining to see what he can get in. One and only chance.
Yeah, let's just bring him up on screen now so we can keep an eye on this lap. Very important for Rocha to nail this, of course. Let me just, while this lap is on in the background, let's just take a very quick scout at the championship standings. He is currently 11 points behind Riku as well, so he had the opportunity to close up last week, but actually Rocha finished his lap there and goes pole position, so that's a great lap, just what he needed. Yeah, so 11 points behind. He had the opportunity to close in a little bit further, but failed to do so. Actually, when we spoke to Riku, he still closed in a tad, didn't he? Because he had the, I think it was the fastest lap and the pole position bonus. So, yeah, Rocha has got, no, I wouldn't say comfortable lead, but you can clearly see that he's going to pull away from Philippe there in 3rd place. Bart Delap up to 4th place. Christopher Kroom rounds out your top 5. Let me again just have a very quick scout down for any names that Graham Carroll as well would. He had a good race last week in 10th place at the moment. You'd expect him to sort of try and break a bit more into that top 10. Michele Mancusi, a driver that's very fast, way down in 14th place at the moment, needs to try and rectify that today, I would say. Paul F. Grillo down in 19th place. We see Paul at the front pretty much every race, so yeah, he's way down there. Tom Ward, Will Fisher, a couple of guys, 27th, 28th. So yeah, Colin Cunniff as well. Good to see Colin in there. He's not had the best of starts in the series though, down in 41st place at the moment.
Right, so I think we've got the top of the grid secured, but we have got our last couple of cars still just completing their laps, so we'll hold off confirming the results from now. I'm just watching Brooks Liritz come over the start-finish line. Brian Dole has abandoned his lap, and I think Duncan Coppedge perhaps is the only car on a hot lap, but he is not going to have time, it looks like, to complete his lap. Only 20 seconds left of the session, and he is nothing like far enough around the track. So, same for Paul Grillo, who's not going to get around. So I'm pretty comfortable then in running through the grid positions. So, Vinicius Rocha has indeed got that pole position, so he finished with a 2 minutes 33.110, so 6/10 off what he managed in practice, so we can see that the guys are going to go quicker with that draft effect, and as the fuel burns off and the tyres warm up. Philip Labour finished just 600ths of a second behind with a .175. Riku Elatalo then in 3rd with Graham Carroll, last week's winner, in 4th. We got Mike Matheson in 5th and Brian Lockwood in 6th. Paul Grillo, who we were just talking about there, in 7th with Tom Ward in 8th. George Streetley is in 9th with Rafael Drezes in 10th. Fahim Antoinades in 11th and Ricardo Ferreira in 12th. Conor McCall down in 13th. He finished in 2nd last week, so he's got a bit of work to do if he wants to get a similar sort of result. Alan Piercy then in 14th with Michele Mancusi in 15th, Chris Simpson in 16th with Colin Cunniff in 17th, Mike McCormick 18th and Rob Reed in 19th, Clark Williams in 20th and Kartik Pai in 21st, Bart Hoogmid in 22nd and Rob Kane in 23rd with Chris McGowan in 24th and Clive Armstrong in 25th, Will Fisher 26th, Alex Dix 27th, Matt Hannigan all the way down in 28th, Ron Charrett in 29th, Peter Cowan in 30th, Rod Evans in 31st, Duncan Coppedge 32nd, Brooke Liritz in 33rd, and then Brian Dole failed to put in a time, but I did see him on track, so perhaps we will see him start from 34th position at the very back of the grid.
Great turnout again, 34 cars for this one. Last week as well was a nice big grid, so it's good to see once again the series getting a lot of love out there from all the guys in this Skippy.
So the cars have got a long run up the hill still where they're starting at the start-finish line, all the way into turn 1. So as normal, not expecting to see any real difference between the cars off the line. It's always a dump the clutch and go in these, so you rarely see any change off the line. But I I wonder even by the time they get to turn 1, maybe a bit of draft effect might even start to kick in by then. Probably a bit early maybe, so perhaps we'll see a little bit of shuffling as we head towards a braking zone at turn 1.
I dare say we'll see Philippe move over as quick as possible to try and stop Riku from picking up that draft, so here we go.
So round 4 of the Skip Barber 2K Cup finishes Roger on pole position with Philippe Labour alongside. We get our green flag, they dump the clutch, and it's all pretty even off the line as we'd expect to see, as cars all bogged down initially a little bit. Vinicius Rocha comes over to the racing line. Riku Alatalo looks like he's got a little bit of a run maybe on Philippe Labour, so he's certainly closer than Philippe is to Vinicius. So Philippe sits in the centre of the track just to try and defend slightly. First few cars all look pretty clean into the corner. Rocha, then Labour, then Alatalo. Looks like
great start from everybody there, all filtered through turn 1 nicely, no mistakes so far, which is always good to see.
Yeah, great clean start from everyone. I'm seeing a little bit of shuffling at the very back of grid at the moment, but otherwise it's looking pretty clean as they all stream down towards turn 5.
Great shot there as all the cars filter through turn 2.
And they head into this hard braking zone here with a tricky downward approach as they hit the brakes hard onto them, and I see Tom Ward in the background looking either to make a move or perhaps defending his position. So as they head through the slowest section of the track now, we've got Vinicius Rocha, then Philippe Labour, then Riku Alatalo, Graham Carroll, Brian Lockwood with Tom Ward behind. We've got Paul F. Grillo alongside Mike Matheson, so Paul F. Grillo looks like he's just going to hold on, though Mike Matheson now's got the inside line now for turn 7, but he has to back out of it. Paul Grillo comes through with the cars side by side now as they head into the next heavy braking zone.
You guys just trying to make some early moves, make up some space. Paul's lost quite a bit of time and maybe actually already going to see a bit of a pack separation, 1.4 seconds behind. The rest of the pack, there's nothing between them, but it could be that this top 6 could be the breakaway. We often see that little breakaway pack, and I think we might have it already, Lee.
Yeah, and it's important there for Brian Lockwood in 5th position not to allow himself to get dropped by that pack in front. So he's just about hanging on to that lead pack for now. But as you said, behind them, they are struggling already. Brian Lockwood ends up on the grass, I think, or was it Riku Alatalo ended up on the grass through turn 11. So he's under pressure now then from Graham Carroll. Graham Carroll up the inside into the corner and just about manages to get it slowed down. Riku Alatalo holds on to the spot for now, and they will kick up a little bit of dust as they come out of Canada corner there.
Yeah, that gap further back, Paul definitely lost the draft now, so it's going to be a race of two big packs, I think, and then Michele Mancusi as well. He's lost the draft, so I'm guessing he must have made some moves somewhere along there with Ricardo Ferreira, and there's 3 distinct packs now in this race already. Look at that shot coming up the hill there. They're too wide, probably 5 or 6 deep further back there, so.
Yeah, we're going to have movement at the front as well. Alex Graham Carroll looking to challenge on Riku Alatalo, but he decides to wait another lap. And same with Tom Ward, he was shaping up to make a move for Lockwood. So yeah, that group really closed up massively in the draft, just like we talked about. Mike Matheson then is ahead of Paul F. Grillo as they headed through turn 1. So that second pack of 4 is all through cleanly. And we've got, this big gaggle of cars there, led for the moment by Michele Mancusi. And Chris Simpson, I think, just made a spot coming through turn 1. And we've got a little bit of difference in timing of the braking further back as well. Rob Reed nearly had, perhaps, I think it was Bart Hoogmid, I think, struggled to slow the car down in time, but we all managed to get through.
There's a little bit of a battle going on behind this. I'm trying to see who that is. Can't actually grab that at the moment, just gone off of screen, unfortunately.
Yeah, Tom Ward, Alex, is about to make 2 positions and 2 corners. He doesn't quite get the drive out of turn 5 though, so he does have to slot in behind Graham Carroll in the end, but he got past Brian Lockwood on the brakes into turn 5.
Yeah, Brian just seemed to be struggling to hold on to that pack a little bit, so, and I think Tom perhaps saw that and knew that he needed to get on there just in case there was any chance that Brian made a mistake and fell out of the draft. Roger trying to pull away a little bit at the front, but nothing's going to go. We're going to go on this huge back straight now. 0.6 of a second is the gap right now, but that's going to close up. Let's just see what it is by the time they reach Canada corner. It's already half a second now, so a 1/10 already closed in. As
those
Philippe
cars-
runs very wide through the
Yeah, they
kink there.
struggle to get through that kink. There's so little downforce in these cars, they're just sliding all the way through that corner.
Even with that mistake, he's caught in 0.3 of a second as well. So, yeah, it's pretty much impossible, I think, for the guys to pull away. Had there not been individual battles going on, we would have seen one big pack, like Ricky was mentioning last week in the interview. Just having a look at one of the other packs as well at the moment. Michele Mancusi and Ricardo Ferreira having a little bit of a ding-dong. I'm sure those guys have exchanged position a couple of times now already, and that's what's dropping them back even further. Here comes Ricardo once again.
Yeah, and also Philippe Labert was in a strong position to be able to get the run and finish his Rocher if he chose to. Yeah, I think he had a little bit of a lift, but that meant the cars behind are right up alongside him as well. So Graham Carroll looking to make 2 spots on the brakes into turn 1. Gives Philippe a little bit of a squeeze on entry. Rico Alatello looks to capitalise as well and follow him through. So Alatello is going to be up to 3rd. I think Philippe Labert's going to be relegated to 4th. So I think Philippe Labert was trying to play a little bit of tactics and keep Vinicius ahead of him, so he kept the draft, but it just allowed himself to get swamped by those cars behind. So yeah, Philippe Labert down into 4th.
Yeah, Graham not really interested in driving a conservative race at this point. He'd rather lead from the front, and I dare say we'll see some sort of move now going into this corner.
Yeah, Vinicius goes to defend. He sits in the middle of a track, and Graham Carroll sticks to the racing line. Vinicius is happy at the end that he's got it covered, comes back to the racing line. Tom Ward, it looked like, struggled to get the car slowed down. He ends up alongside Philippe Labert. Philippe gave him a good bit of space. He saw that coming, I think. And Tom Ward now is going to be up onto 4th. Philippe Labert is getting shuffled to the back of the pack.
I think Philippe there just got in a little bit hot, actually, Lee. It looked like he almost tagged Riku and had to run wide to avoid doing that. So, yeah, good awareness from Philippe. Oh, and that was Graham Carroll. I just saw there get a little bit out of shape.
Yeah, and I was oohing myself, Alex, as I watched Mancusi get very, very sideways trying to defend from Ricardo Ferreira. So Mancusi managed to hold on to that position, but they're 2 deep further back as I watch. Colin Cunniff leading a little group of Bart Hoogwood, Kartik Pai and Clark Williams there, all squabbling away. They were 2 by 2 as they came into turn 8.
Yep, that Williams livery that is on Bart's car there, just starting to become a little familiar and common. Obviously our leader at the moment sporting that too. Will Fisher leading one of the other packs as well, down in 19th place. He's made some spots up after his qualifying. He needs some good results really if he's going to do anything for his championship. I don't know, Lee. We always expect to see Will sort of floating in and around the top 10 area. So had such a great race. I'm trying to remember where it was. It's one of the sort of the Roval circuits. Yep. Made that mistake. So and that's. Yeah, really hasn't done anything since then.
Yeah, that certainly seemed to be his strongest race. In the second pack, Paul F. Grillo is leading for now, but they're almost 3 wide coming over the start-finish line. So we've got George Streetley with then Mike Matheson tucked right in his gearbox. They might both just about push past Paul F. Grillo as they head into turn 1 here, but they need to be tricky and have a bit of coordination between the two. Looked like Mike Matheson brakes a little bit early to start with, but then realised he had the space, so he carried the momentum through turn 1, and he's going to slot just ahead of Paul F. Grillo. So yeah, George Streetley, then Mike Matheson, and Paul F. Grillo then 3rd in that little pack.
2 places for Paul. I think that's the name of the game, isn't it? Today it looks like you can get 2 within 1, being how long these straights here are at Road America.
Oh, and I see contact, Alex, between Will was talking about there, and I think it was Peter Cowan. So the cars behind him now are 3 wide. So yeah, we got Will Fisher, Peter Cowan, Rob Kane, and Duncan Coppedge all squabbling down the long run down towards turn 5 now as they are approaching onto those brakes. Will Fisher's about to get swamped a little bit as well, I think, and so Peter Cowan gets his nose in front into the corner. Will Fisher tries to defend still, holds onto it for now, exiting, but has a bit of a sideways moment, and again they're almost going to be 3 wide, Alex, heading up to turn 6.
Yeah, great driving, everybody giving each other just a little bit of room as Peter Cowan, and is that someone just gone bang ahead? I heard some sort of engine or some sort of contact.
Yeah, I heard it, but I can't see anything.
Yeah, who's that tucked in the corner there? Is dropping down. I think that might be George. Yeah, George Streetley. He's abandoned the car there at the side. Let's just take a quick look back on that and replay. I think it might have been an engine failure.
And so whilst we look at that replay, I've swapped back to the leaders and I see that Graham Carroll has now taken the position from Vinicius Rocha. So he's leading the lead group now, with Rico Alatalo looking to move up into second. Tom Ward looking to get a bit of a hurry on as well. None of them seem like they want to stay sat in that pack for too long.
Yeah, I think some of the guys out there aren't racing for a championship per se, so it's all about personal pride. So get into that front if they can, and overtaking a couple of drivers at the same time is all good for morale. And just to confirm that George Strictly was an engine failure, so it looked like he over-revved it on downshift there, and yeah, pop she went.
And so the leaders coming over to start lap 5. So yeah, we've got Graham Carroll at the front with then Vinicius Rocha, then Rico Alatalo about to maybe challenge for that second position. Then we've got Tom Ward just behind him with Philip Labour and then Brian Lockwood. Rico Alatalo has a little bit of a lift as they approach turn 1 and is happy just to stay sat in that third position for now.
Yeah, Tom didn't want to make any kind of move in the background there. We saw him previously get a couple of moves done, and obviously Graham Carroll got himself to the lead for that exact reason. Did try and break away, but I think we all know that as long as this pack doesn't do anything rash, then we've got a good sort of 6-car battle for the lead up until the pit stops at least.
Yeah, and talking about those pit stops, I think it's just a couple of laps until the pit window opens, so we're expecting everybody in between laps 6 and 9.
Yeah, 6 seems so early comparison to what we've had already this season, but only a 15-lap race here, so we're a third of the way in already. It's a long old lap, but soon ticking by.
And so far it looks like we've just got the one retirement of Clive Armstrong, two retirements, sorry, of Clive Armstrong and George Streetley, who we spoke about a second ago, so the rest of the 32 runners then are still going strong.
Yeah, that's impressive going. Sorry there, just a little distracted, just having a little look at some battles further back. But yeah, just a couple of retirements. I mean, 31, what are we, 30? Well, 32 drivers still going. That is, that's great. And it just goes to show that a lot of room was given. I think there's a few drivers there that have got caught up in something as well. We might have just lost somebody else there as well. We've got Fahim down in 30th place right now. He's some 70 seconds off the lead, and that can only be down to some sort of contact. And then Conrad Macau as well, way down there in that same sort of time. Mike McCormick, has he just had a problem somewhere? Finds himself down in 32nd place. Miles behind. That's nearly 2 minutes down there.
Rico Alatalo has moved up into second position, so on the run down to Canada Corner he got up alongside Vinicius Rocha and made a pretty comfortable move to sit in Graham Carroll's slipstream, as Graham Carroll had all 4 wheels onto the grass on the exit of the final corner there, turn 14, to start their new lap.
And it looks like Philippe might have lost the draft. It's very, very close, 1.3, 1.2. He's just about getting sucked in right now. Brian Lockwood, if you'll want to push him down the straight if he can do anything, make sure he closes back in. And actually, just after that straight, wow, that is amazing. Obviously, the guys did lift up front there, because he's only 0.4 of a second behind. That was nearly 1 second closed up in that one straight.
And yeah, so the second little group now is down to 3. So we've got Mike Matheson leading that with Paul Grillo and Rafael Drazas in 9th position. Michel Mancusi still leading the third little group. So Mancusi in 10th, and we've got Ricardo Ferreira still. We've got Bart Hoogmid, Chris Simpson, and Alan Piercy. Kartik Pai has just dropped slightly further back then, with Clark Williams and Colin Cunniff desperately trying to hang on. Our group then is still led by Will Fisher, and that looks to be a busy little group still. I think we're going to get movement again as they head now towards turn 5. Will Fisher defends hard on the run. He's got front wing damage as well, it looks like, so he is struggling to maintain the lead of that group.
Well, they're 2 wide, 3 what looked like 3 deep there for a moment, and oh, a little mistake there from Will. He could be coming under a little bit of pressure. Everybody sort of go single file here for this tricky uphill left-hander. So easy to lock the wheels up there and just go straight on into that gravel trap.
Yeah, that's traditionally one of the more difficult circuits, one of the more difficult corners, sorry, to get right. So your braking comes over the crest, and as you say, it makes it so easy to lock up and so easy just to run in a little bit hot and a little bit deep. So even though Philippe closed in the draft coming down the front straight, he's lost a fair chunk of time again on this lap. So Brian Lockwood is feeling the need to try and give him a bit of a push on and not allow himself to get separated from this lead group.
I think Brian knows he's got to get by now. For whatever reason, Philippe just seems to be struggling in the dirty air, and I know these skippies don't suffer too much from that, but still, he's falling off in that midfield section, and Brian won't want to take any chances that he could get disconnected from this lead pack.
But again, by the time I'd finished saying that, just the run down to Canada Corner and really closed back up again, to be fair. So he is certainly closer this lap than he was the previous lap. So certainly for these lead 2 or 3 packs where they all seem just to have settled down a little bit now and it's not too chaotic, nobody wants to be the first to pit, do they? Because then they're going to be out of that draft. Maybe a little bit deeper into the field, if certainly that group that we had with Will Fisher where we said they were pretty chaotic, it looked like you might want to get out of there and feel like you would have the opportunity to run quicker on your own. But I would imagine we can expect everyone leaving it as late as they possibly can.
Yeah, it seems like no one wants to lose the draft whatsoever. It's just that much slower on your own.
I was about to say that Michel Mancusi lost the lead of that third little pack there, but he braked so much later than Ricardo Ferreira into turn 1 that he just drove straight back around the outside of him again. So whether that was Ricardo being a little bit cautious just on the inside, being unsure as to his braking point, or Mancusi just being able to brake much more confidently and much later, it wasn't really clear. But he's going to be defending again now from Ricardo as they head towards turn 5. He doesn't really feel the need to move into a defensive position, so he allows Ricardo just to move up and take that inside position, and Mark Hubergen is going to try and follow him through as well. So Ricardo Ferreira on the brakes. He's not able to really to get by on the brakes, but he clears him on the apex. Oh, so close, almost touching there. It looked like my camera angle, but they continue on by. And there's a spinner in the background as well. I think that might have been Colin Cunniff.
Have a very quick look. I think you're right. I think it was Colin. Sorry, Colin. Have a quick look at this on replay now. Just see what happened there. He was just falling outside of the draft there. Who that was he was behind at that particular point in time, I have to look that up, but yeah, Colin, not somebody we've seen in the Skippy a great deal. He just got in a little bit hot and over rotated the rear, and around she comes. There's just nothing you can do with these little Skippies when they get that bad. You can give it all the reverse look you want.
We got changes at the front again, Alex. So as we're looking back down the field, Graham Carroll is still just about leading for now, with Rico Alatello right underneath his rear wing. We've then got Tom Ward in third even, with Vinicius Rocha in 4th and Brian Lockwood in 5th. That means that Philippe Labert has been shuffled all the way to the back of the pack now, and he's desperately needing that draft to just keep his claws just about into that lead group.
Yeah, it's important for the championship. Obviously, sat in 3rd place, he really needs to pick up a fair chunk of points on both Vinicius and Riku. I'm not sure he's going to do it. Seems
very late call. Very late call there from Vinicius Rocha. He was looking to dummy the cars behind, so Vinicius Rocha dived into the pit lane as late as he could, and Philippe Labert chose to follow him in as well. So Rocha and Philippe Labert in.
Take a quick look at that back on replays. For some unknown reason, we hadn't switched back to live, so that made all of no sense. Right, let's have a quick look at that back. So just looking at Rocha here, tucked up in 4th place at the moment. We've seen him do this a few times, Rocha jump in, and sometimes it pays off, and other times not so much.
Yeah, it feels a little bit of a riskier choice here for this circuit, but perhaps to find how that all pans out as I watch Graham Carroll leading the lead group still. Rico Alatello, Tom Ward has closed massively now. Tom Ward might look to move a position forward as well, but they're almost on top of each other as they head into turn 5.
Oh, Brian as well, having a little look. He's going to get by Tom here, so...
Oh, he just looked like he tagged the back of Riku there, I thought, as they entered the corner as well, but might have just got away with it, hopefully.
Yeah, I can't see any damage on either car there, so... very lucky there to get away with that, but yeah, strange. Tom went from attack to defence there, and blink of an eye, and couldn't react in time for it at all. I just wanted to pick up, is Paul Grillo closing in on this pack at the moment?
That was exactly the sentence I was about to say. I reckon that second group looks a fair chunk closer than the last time I paid any attention. The leaders, Alex, 34.9 for Graham Carroll, down to a 34.5 for Tom Ward. Paul Grillo, 33 flat. So they made a second and a half or more on every car in that lead pack as they were squabbling away.
Yeah, I think if they carry on at that rate in 2 or 3 laps time, we're going to have one big pack up the front here. Let's just keep an eye on what others are going to do, though, pit stop wise now.
Absolutely, and that shows it could be in a good call from Vinicius Rocha and Philippe Labert getting out of that battle. They knew they were losing time. Rico Alatello blows straight by Graham Carroll on the run to Canada corner.
Guess he's going to be in this time, wants to make sure his pit stop is bang on the money. We know how good he is in the pits, and it's important for him to get clear air and a clear run in, so he just nails the pit lane limiter.
Right, so here they come out of the final corner now then. So Rico Alatello, is he going to peel into pit lane? Surely he must. Yes, he does. Graham Carroll is the only... Oh, he changed his mind at the last second. I was about to say he was the only one to carry on by, but all 4 leaders in.
Yeah, I wondered if Graham was going to make it in time there, I tell you. Where is Rocha? Well, 15.2 seconds for Rocha. That's not particularly quick, I have to say, Lee. Philippe, who's still behind him, actually, was 13.9, so 1.3 seconds faster. But some of the other guys have been in the 11s further back, like Michele Mancusi, so he could well have gone a little bit long there.
Every single car, Alex, has gone into the pits apart from Alan Piercy. I'm not seeing a single other car continuing by, so everyone else stays out. Right, Vinicius Rocha is on to the front straight. Let's see where him and Philippe come out in relation to Rico Alatello.
Riku, 13.2 seconds for his
Riku's
stop.
away, yeah. Riku comes out of pit exit. I can hear Vinicius Rocha and Philippe coming, but they are miles away. So Alatello has broken a draft, it looks like, then on Brian Lockwood in second. Rocha and Labert get past Rafael Drazes. Rafael Drazes must have short fueled. He has ended up way further up front.
Yeah, 9.6 seconds stop for Drazes there. That cannot be luck. That cannot be enough.
Graham Carroll has lost out massively. He came into the pits in second position. He's the next car up. Then Tom Ward just behind. So Alatello, as normal, nails that pit stop, it seems, assuming he hasn't short fueled, but Graham Carroll, bit of a misjudgment.
15.6 seconds for Graham Carroll. Tom Ward no better with a 15.9, so those guys, yeah, like you say, losing out massively. Tom, it's go time for him, and he's already passed Graham Carroll.
And Vinicius Rocha is already past Brian Lockwood, so Vinicius Rocha up into second. Philippe Labert trying to follow him through, but not quite able to see it. And I thought I saw a little bit of a tangle there, maybe between Tom Ward and Graham Carroll. I thought I heard perhaps a car getting a little bit sideways, so I think they ended up just about coming out the order that they entered.
Yeah, they both survived. Can't see anything per se as far as the timings go. Just having a quick look at a battle that's going on now. Will Fisher, Duncan Coppedge, changing positions on the track at the moment. Sorry, that's Chris McGowan just ahead of them. And Will Fisher, that is, sorry.
Just wanted to check my memory, Alex, to the numbers you said. I think I remember you saying that Vinicius Rocha was a 15-second stop, and also Graham Carroll was a 15-second stop, correct?
15.6 for Graham Carroll and 15.2 for Rocha.
So, pitting in early for Vinicius Rocha then worked out massively, because he is a long way ahead of Graham Carroll, considering they had the same length for pit stop. So, yeah, himself and Philippe Labert diving in earlier than everyone else. That's looked to have worked out quite nicely.
Well, now the important thing for Rocha is that the guys don't fight him behind. He's quick enough, he got pole position, they need to stay in that draft and use that to draft back up to Ricky. Otherwise, if they start battling, there's no way they're going to get up to him. 3.2 seconds is, will be his lead when he crosses the line. Alan Piercy's still out there at the moment, or actually just in pit lane now. Such a long stop here at Road America as well. I mean, it's you're talking 30 seconds just in trundling down the pit lane. So
we have got Graham Carroll just come past Tom Ward down the front straight there. So he is in a 6th position, trying to see if he can desperately claw his way up now to this first proper group.
If I was those two, they're just outside the draft, I would play the slipstream game big time and just keep exchanging positions until you can get up to each other and to that pack ahead. It's the only thing they can do. If they actually try and battle and defend, it's not going to work, but if they just exchange positions and play the game right, they could close back in on these guys. That gap as well, Paul Grillo and Mike Matheson in that second pack, 2.2 seconds now, so they're still closing in. They've lost Michele Mancusi. No, Michele was the pack behind, wasn't he?
Yes, correct.
I think, yeah. He's lost Ricardo Ferrer. Those guys are separated by 5 seconds, so on the track, yep, 4 seconds difference in the pit stop, that'll be why. Oh, Ricardo out shape. He just about holds onto that bar hook there. Thought about a little move, but I think he realised it's just too difficult up the top there.
And still looks like Will Fisher is involved in a pretty monumental battle in front of him with Alex and then Duncan Coppage side by side as they head through turn 6. Duncan Coppage just making up a position.
Yeah, 19th place, probably not where Duncan wants to be right now. We're used to seeing him up in and around the top 15 as well. So, looking at the cars around him, best he's probably going to manage is P17 today. They've got Chris McGowan in P17's got a 10-second gap to Clark Williams now. So, all that scrapping that these guys have been doing is just losing them absolute boatload of time.
So it's going to be interesting to see the lap times as they cross over the finish line this time by. See how Riku is doing on his own compared to the pack behind. I dare say that Graham Carroll and Tom Ward are closing on that little group as well, running from second position.
I think it's been a very good lap from Roger. I'm looking at the live timing now. I think it's going to be about 3.6 seconds when he crossed the line. And I think it was only about 3.2, 3.3 the last time. So let's have a look. It's going to be difficult to tell, is it? Because of Riku's out? No, 132, a 232.8 and a 233.5. So yeah, lost half a second there, Roger. And he's under a lot of pressure again. This is not going to help his case whatsoever. The guys, of course, they just want that P2. They really don't care, and it's costing Roger dearly because he's just falling further and further back from his main rival.
But equally, they saw that he was slower that last lap, and right, it's no good. You get shuffled back. Someone else has got to lead and see if they can draw us back up towards him. So if they waited another couple of laps, they would potentially just keep losing that time still. Yeah,
now what Roger needs to do is come straight back past Philippe, and no point in lifting. And it looks like he's going to do that. That could work, as we've seen. It has worked for Tom Ward and Graham Carroll. They're right on the back of this pack now as well.
And they just need a little bit of agreement from Brian Lockwood then third in that line, just not to get involved and let those front two just keep swapping back and forth and allow that extra benefit to translate through.
I'm sure now if they had spotters listening in to the broadcast, they would probably be on the radio now, go, right lads, this is what we need to do. Alex and Lee have called it, do ads.
And so Graham Carroll and Tom Ward are definitely part of this second group now, so they have closed up quite nicely.
Let's just take a look at the, what is now the second group, I suppose, as everybody's joined back up. Paul Grillo, Mike Matheson, I think they've actually been battling it out a little bit now because they've started to fall back just a little bit. Hoogmed still tucked up behind Ricardo Ferrer here. Actually looks like he's under more pressure from Kartik Pai at the moment as they go through the kink corner. Every driver in that little pack just exits out to the curbing, so no issues that time by for any of those. Just 5 laps left actually. It'll be 4 when Ricky crosses the line, so this race absolutely flying by.
Yeah, it's flying by. I wonder how much of that is the interest in the race itself, or the fact that we've just come from a 6-hour endurance race. Maybe a little bit of both. So the guys are come over the finish line again now. Again, I'm curious to see the time in the lap difference between Rico Alatello and the group behind. So Alatello was a 10th quicker than previously, 32.7 that time by, and Vinicius Rocha was 33.0. So Rico Alatello, keep it clean. He's got this race in the bag. It's all going to be a matter of who's going to get those second 2 podiums. They're very, very tight into turn 1, Alex. God. So Tom Ward trying to go around the outside of Graham Carroll as they exit. and Brian Lockwood getting very, very close to Philip Labour at entering turn 1. The one car in here, sorry, just to remind ourselves, who is slightly out of place maybe is Rafael Drazas, so I kind of hope he doesn't get involved too much and disrupt things, because we're expecting him to absolutely have to pit again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was him, I think I would just be doing a whole load of lift coasting right now down the straight, and actually it sounds like he's doing just that. I can't think that he's going to save up enough fuel there, but...
Philip Labour, sorry, got a bit sideways through turn 5. That's allowed Brian Lockwood to have a little bit of a sniff then up to turn 6. He chose not to, but then that's allowed Raphael to try and get a run around the outside of turn 6. He's just about hanging on now for the entry to turn 7, but contact behind, so he quite rightly lifts to Brian, but lifted way too much and didn't really allow Graham Carroll and Tom Ward anywhere to go.
Yeah, those guys...
Raphael and Tom Ward, sorry Alex, side by side as they come through turn 8, but I thought they were going to make contact there, but no, it all turned out okay. So Raphael there is being shuffled to the back of the pack.
Yeah, the pack spreads apart, but they're still well within the drafting distance of each other, so I fully expect that'll close straight back up after this and the main straight. 4 seconds now, Riku leading the way. Very, very cool, calm character. I mean, he's just also done about I'm not sure how many stints he did in the Ford GT and the Neo Endurance series there, but he was
did 4 hours, Alex.
4 hours.
Yeah, he did 4 hours, and he was warned, I believe, that he had reached his limits to what he was allowed to do, and he had to swap out of the car.
Yeah, well, that just goes to show, and here he is in the Skippy, straight in it, so probably not a great deal of practice, I dare say. It's the usual kind of thing that Ricky tells us, but leading the way, and it's his pit stop that's done it again. The pace really isn't that impressive compared to what we've seen from the others, but yeah, that pit stop is what's given that little gap. So
the second group now has split into two just a little bit. Graham Carroll is risking getting dropped from Brian Lockwood, so he needs to desperately just hang on to that as they head down towards the next long straight and see if he can claw his way back up slightly. We've just got just a couple of laps remaining.
Yeah, 1 second separates them. He's already down to 0.8, so 0.7 now according to the live timing, so that's well within the draft lane, and I expect them to zip up. 3.1 seconds is the lead now, 7/10 of a second the guys closed in, so if they can work together like they've just done, they can't get to him. Shut up.
But they certainly can get a lot closer, and all it takes is just one mistake from Riku, a little bit of a lock over wheel or a touch of grass on an exit. We've seen how wide they all push this track on the exits, so there's a sniff in there.
Let's just take a quick look back at some of the other battles that are going on. Paul Grillo's still tucked up behind Mike Matheson. I dare say he's just playing a waiting game, those two on their own at the moment. We've got Michele Mancusi in 10th place at the moment. Brain was sort of working. Ricardo Ferreira in 11th, so those guys are in pretty much no man's land, and then there's a big old pack. Sorry, Ricardo's not in no man's land. He's got the big old pack behind him, which is Bart Hoogme, Kartik Pai and Chris Simpson, so those guys all looking to try and draft up to Ricardo there and pick up what would that be, 11th spot. Not quite going to make a top 10 today if they can get that done.
I just see Graham Carroll taking a big chunk of grass on the exit of the kink, maybe just losing a little bit of drive to Tom Ward behind, but as you said, a lap or so ago, they've definitely got that draft still of these couple of cars behind. Brian Lockwood is looking a bit feisty. He is right underneath the rear wing again of Philip Labour now, so he wants to try and make a move as they head towards the final corner and the big pull up of a hill of the front straight. So out the final corner, Rico Alatalo, good few seconds down the road still. Vintage Watcher, a little bit wide on the exit, but all under control. Brian Lockwood, I think, here looking to make a position on Philip Labour.
And Rafa's into the pits, just as we expected. So, yeah, that 9.6 second stop. He did exactly what Rocha did last week, and paid the price for it. Tom Ward just sticks the fastest lap of the race in.
So on that lap, I mean, we've been seeing it quite regularly, I'm sure, but Philip Labour and Brian Lockwood had a big lift to make sure they didn't go past Vinicius there, and that meant that Graham Carroll ended up right underneath the gearbox, so well and truly a 5-car pack again.
Yeah, half a second they closed in on Riku, down to 2.7 seconds. It's just not going to be enough. They need probably 1 second the next 2 laps, and that will get them into draft, maybe to have opportunity to get past out of the final corner before the start finish line. We know that that looks a bit feisty coming down with 3 wide, I thought for a moment. Tom. He spun Brian. I think, didn't Brian get caught up in something last week as well that wasn't any of his own doing? He'll be gutted with that. He's going to join just ahead of this next pack, but oh no, that's crabbing as well. So it looks like that's Brian's day done and dusted with just 2 laps remaining. He'll be gutted. Yeah,
that was a real shame there. It looked like it was going to be busy as entered the corner. It looked like Vinicius Rocha was very late defending from the cars behind, getting a run on him. And yeah, Tom Ward just missing his brake marker, unfortunately. And he, bless him, he tried to slot himself between the cars, and there wasn't quite that car's width. So I'm seeing significant damage to the front wing of Tom Ward. We'll see if he can hold on to that position, and that might give Paul Grillo and Mike Matheson a sniff at moving up, maybe.
Wide,
yeah, Tom's struggling.
Well.
Yeah, struggling with lack of front downforce.
It's going to be tricky through here. Let's keep an eye on him. He just about holds it on there. 3.2 seconds the gap now. So Riku actually flying this lap, pulling away. There's a little bit of battle. It's just doing them no favours whatsoever. But I guess they realise now it's all about P2 for these guys.
And talking about P2, Philip Labour moves into P2. He just went past Vinicius Rocha on the run to Canada Corner, and that has Graham Carroll then just behind in 4th position. So yeah, we've got these 3 cars: Philip Labour, Vinicius Rocha, and Graham Carroll. One of them is going to miss out on a podium as well.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to lift this time if you're Rocha. He'll get the bonus points for pole position. He needs 2nd place if he's going to close in on his championship rival. Yeah, he's going through. We heard though that you want to be the 2nd car. Here
comes Graham as well. Graham Carroll looking to make it 3 wide, right up against the pit wall. He's on the inside. Vinicius Rocha in the middle. Philip Labour, Wisey gets out of it early. Vinicius tries to carry the speed, has a big oversteer moment mid to entry. He's going to lose the drive out the corner. Philip Labour might just get back on him. 3 wide again. Alex, turn 2. Philip's in the middle. Vinicius is the one just to back out of it this time. Philip tries to cut back across as close as you like. Front. The paintwork on the front of that nose of Philip Labour must have just scuffed the rear axle on Graham Carroll. They're going to be 3 wide again, Alex, coming into turn 5. 3 corners in a row, 3 wide.
It looked like Rocha was basically pushing. That's exactly what's happened.
Definitely did push him that time.
Pushed him. That was just too much. Not good driving. Tom Ward's involved in it as well. Let's have a look. Paul Grillo misses it, along with who was that? Mike Matheson. That was not good driving from our championship leader there. He just, I know he was trying to push him down the road and help him there and make sure that he kept in front of Philippe, but
not going to work in these cars, unfortunately.
That's just not good.
Looked like a little bit of brain fade for a moment for Vinicius there. Yeah, just shoving him along was just not going to work. So let's recap. Rico Alatalo in 1st position. Philip Labour somehow escaped all of that. So he's on his own now in P2. That is going to put Mike Matheson, who was in 7th at the beginning of a lap, into 3rd spot. So he is on track for the podium spot. Paul Grillo lost a spot to Mike, presumably dealing with that incident ahead. So he is now in 4th. Michel Mancusi then is going to be 5th. Ricardo Ferrer is going to be 6th, with Bart Hoogmed in 7th. And we'll confirm the rest of it as we go through. So very, very unlucky for the guys there. But be interested to see what the stewards say about that after the race.
Riku's coasting, so I hope he hasn't done too much fuel. Absolutely, that is crazy amount of lift coast that he's just done into that final corner. So is he that close on fuel? 3 seconds the gap is down to.
It's an uphill run to the finish line as well, Alex.
Yeah, it might be why he just lifted there, just so that he knew he had just a little something in spare. You have to cut it short. 13.2 seconds was short. We saw that a 9.9 second stop was too short. Here he comes across the line. He's got the momentum, I think, to get across.
Just about. Yeah, so Rico Alatalo takes the win. So congratulations. It looked pretty controlled for all of the second half of the race, certainly. Philip Labert somehow got through that incident on the final lap to finish in second position. And Paul F. Grillo got ahead of Mike Matheson on that last lap. Mike Matheson has disappeared, so he must have struggled with fuel, I guess. So Paul Grillo got third spot. That put Michel Mancusi then in fourth position. And then we have got, I'm going to confirm the results in a little while, because with all the cars in the pit lane, I can't scroll through very easily.
Yeah, I'm just watching the little replay now. Mike Matheson limping up to the line. There's nothing he could do. He still has a little weave and perhaps a little bit of celebration, because he's still got a top 5 result, which is pretty decent.
So so that race was for the most part as expected. Lots of drafting, lots of trains of cars for the majority of the race, and fireworks a little bit more towards the end.
I'm gobsmacked by that move. I mean, Roger had nowhere to go, but you just can't push someone like that. You know, this isn't a NASCAR. We're not doing bump drafting. We might see it in F3 at Monza, but that's just crazy.
Right, so I can now go through the final results to confirm all of those. So Rico Alatolu finished 2.5 seconds ahead of Philip Labert. Paul F. Grillo did indeed take that podium position then in third, with Michel Mancusi finishing in fourth. Mike Matheson, as we saw, came across the line in fifth, with Ricardo Ferreira in sixth. Bart Hugman then in 7th, with Chris Simpson in 8th. Kartik Pai was in 9th, and in 10th position was Clark Williams. Chris McGowan then in 11th, and Duncan Coppedge in 12th. Will Fisher finished in 13th, and Rafael Drazes, after his second pit stop, finished down in 14th. Brian Dole then coming from the very back of the grid. Brian didn't manage to put a lap in at all in qualifying, so he finished in 15th position. So 19 positions made?
Yeah, that's my driver of the day right
there. Rob Reed in 16th, with Peter Cowan in 17th, Brooke Lirrett in 18th, and Alex Dix in 19th. Vinicius Rocha finished in the end in 20th, with Conrad McCow all the way down in 21st. So our second position finisher in the last race didn't really make any progress from his qualifying event. He went backwards. Rob Adams then in 22nd, with Mike McCormick in 23rd. And everybody else finished a lap or more down, starting with Graham Carroll and then Tom Ward, who we saw having the coming together at the end there.
But he tried to do it.
To your channel.
Sorry, I was talking to Philip. But hello!
Hello, Riku. Yeah, sorry to grab you in mid-conversation. It's been interviews galore for you today. 4 hours in the Neo Endurance, podium finish for you guys there, and a strong race result today. You were worried about that final corner. You knew that if you were leading with them behind you, it could be all over. But in the end, you had a 3-second gap.
Yeah, I think this is the best pit stop I've done in the whole Skip Barber 2K Cup so far. That I absolutely nailed it. Well, maybe I could have added 0.1 liters more in the pits, because I had to save the few last lap, and I started sputtering about 100 meters after the line. So it was pretty closely calculated. But I was surprised that everyone else fell so far behind. And after that, I was lucky enough to do a couple of fast laps, 32.7s, 32.8s. So yeah, happy with the result.
So, what's that, 5 hours worth of driving today for you?
Yeah, and it was, I did 4 fuel stints in the Ford GT straight, without stopping, so that was like, 3.5 hours of straight up driving in Sebring. Sebring, it's probably the worst place to race 3 hours in a row. Except maybe Virginia, Grant West, which I've done once. And it wasn't fun. But yeah, I mean, Pro Series top 5 yesterday, today second in the 6 hours, and now first in the Skippy 2K Cup. It's been a good weekend. And I've been drunk as well at the Cup Finland meeting, so it was extra good.
Well, that's the important part there, isn't it? Just getting a little bit hammered and having a meet up with your sim buddies. So yeah, well done for a weekend, good results, and I'm sure next week you'll do similar kind of thing again. I think it's become pretty custom now that if you don't get a good pit stop, you're going to lose the race to yourself. And what's is that 100% record now? I'm just having a look at the wins column.
No, I lost Donington.
Oh yes, you did. Yeah, you did. Sorry about that. Yep. So
that was a bit of a failure.
It's looking good for the championship anyway, because obviously Vinicius, I don't think he'll mind me saying, but had a bit of brain failure on the last lap there and was trying to bump draft one of the guys, and it all went pear-shaped, and they crashed out. So your lead's going to be quite substantial now, and I think actually it's probably Philippe's going to become your main rival for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, fortunate for me, of course, that he wrecked out, and unfortunate really that to him. To be honest, I was actually hoping people would pass him because it's good for me, my championship. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was a brain failure, what you called it, but it's just random bugs. Sometimes you get stuck with the car if you're bump drafting. It happens in the ovals as well, and it just sucks that had to happen now. And he tried to move his body up in front of the other guy and happened to get stuck. Thank you, Cammer, for your coding. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you very much, Ricky, for joining us. Next week, you know how rubbish I am at this broadcasting.
Barber, wow.
Yeah, there we go. At least you're on the ball.
I was already looking at the schedule because I knew you were going to ask about next week. But yeah, Barber should be a lot less drafting, so it's more of a driver's course. And the pit entrance will be another exciting one because it's the left and right in the entrance. I mean, right and left. So you have to go fast there as well. So, and it's quite a long pit lane, so we'll have to see how that goes. Hopefully the pit will go my way this time.
Great. I think we had a great race there last season, actually, so I'm looking forward to seeing that one next week. Well, congratulations again. Go and have a break. Stick your feet up, mate. I think you've deserved it with this weekend.
Yeah, I will, sure. Thanks.
User was moved out of your channel.
Kiralatalo there. Glacier Racing. Can't really say too much about the drive. Lee, week in, week out, he just nails those stops, and that's where the competition need to improve.
Yeah, and it's tough competition for everyone else, isn't it? We know Riku is a pro, if not WCS level driver. So for these guys to pit themselves against him week in and week out, well, they're normally pretty damn close. And Riku we've seen is strong race after race. Right, I think next up is going to be Philippe, our second position finisher. So congratulations, Philippe. You must be mighty relieved to have escaped that final lap there.
Good evening, Lee. Yeah, that was some last lap. I've never seen anything like it. I read something. Vinny said that I might have pushed him on the grass. I'm not sure if that was the case. I certainly didn't notice that, but wow, that was incredible. The last lap, my heart's still beating.
Yeah, we didn't see anything like that on our first viewing. We saw Vinicius attempting to bump draft. We think Graham Carroll, and it's just didn't quite work out. That's certainly what it was from our point of view. But yeah, so game of cat and mouse the whole way through the race. I think, Philippe, with everyone just lifting and coasting at the end of the straights each time, waiting to see how things can develop for those last few laps.
Yeah, that was the plan, but when I saw that Paul Grillo and Mike Matheson were getting closer because they were working together, I thought we have to do something, otherwise we'll have a 7-car group or 8-car group, and we don't want that, certainly not in the braking zone. So things started moving. Well, me and Vinny pitted first. I think that was a good move because we were really slow compared to our regular lap times. And after that, I thought that Rico would never reach the finish because he was like 4 seconds ahead after the pit stops, and I was marginal on fuel. So I don't understand how he does that.
Yeah, it seems to week after week we seem to see Riku getting the quickest, if not one of the quickest laps or pit stops rather. So as you said, there's something he's just able to eke out somehow with his fuel efficiency as well, perhaps compared to everyone else. So next week, Philippe, we're at Barber Motorsport Park, so a very different sort of circuit, a lot tighter, a lot more flowing maybe than Road America can be in places. Looking forward to challenge for a podium spot again there next week, I'm sure.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm usually pretty competitive there. Nothing like Vinny and Riku, but I can always hope for some battles that don't turn out well for the others. I don't know. We'll see. It's always on the edge now. So yeah, I look forward to it.
Good, and we look forward to seeing you again next week then. So thank you very much. We're next going to drag up Mike Matheson, who finished in that 5th position just about missing out on that podium spot
User was
if,
moved out of your channel.
with just barely running out of fuel at the end there. So good evening, Mike. I was just saying, yeah, podium spot looked to be on there for the last lap.
Yeah, I reckon they need to make that track about 1 kilometre shorter. Damn it.
It's a long lap to get around in those little cars, so that easily could have been the case at another circuit. So it looked like you had a good battle for most of the race with Paul F. Grillo. Any particular highlights from there that spring to mind?
Yeah, they I got a bit of a shuffle back at the start, and that was a little bit annoying. I thought we'd all sort of work together to sort of settle some groups down, and Paul dived up the inside going into turn 6, and then we lost the group in front. So from there on in, it was a great battle between us actually. Just swapping the lead every lap, and sort of drafting, passing twice a lap. It's a good thing about this circuit. It just creates fantastic racing, and if you do it properly, you can gain a bit of time.
And did you know coming into those last laps that you would going to be struggling for that fuel coming into the final lap?
No, I honestly didn't even think about it. I've been trying to work on my fuel a little bit, and because it's something that's been really terrible in the past, and did all the calculations, got my calculator out. I'm just standing on it at the moment, breaking the thing because it obviously doesn't work. But yeah, I thought I'd be okay, but maybe I didn't anticipate the draft effect on the fuel as much as what I should. I should have just put a little bit extra in it. But I did jump Paul in the pits refueling, so that probably explains why. And
still finished with that top 5 results, so that's going to be one of your strongest finishes in the series, Mike. We're at Barber next week. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I love Barber. That was a fantastic track. I reckon you almost need a co-driver around there. It'll take me back to my days of rallying. But it's just blind crest after blind crest. It's brilliant. It's really good. It's a fantastic skippy track.
Good. Well, we look forward to seeing you back at the sharp end again next week then, and possibly having enough fuel to keep you on the podium. So congratulations again on that 5th place. So, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah, thanks guys, and well done. Great broadcast.
Thank you very much. Right, so I think that is going to conclude our broadcast for round 4 of the Skip Barber 2K Cup, brought to you from Road America by Apex Racing TV. Myself and Alex now need to go and watch the F1 since we've been busy with our Neo endurance race all day long.
Yep, thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Thanks, Lee, again, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely incredible! Ding dong, are we going to see a race now? And into the pit lane! What's the strategy going to be? Bingo! It's my game!